June sat on his back porch, a hot cup of tea warming his hands against the cool evening air. The stars were bright tonight in the clear sky above his small house. June loved his quiet life away from the busy city. After teaching astronomy at the university for 20 years, he had moved to this peaceful countryside home 3 years ago. He took a sip of tea and looked up. Something strange caught his eye. A light moved across the sky, then stopped. Stars didn't do that. Planes didn't do that either. "What is that?" June whispered to himself. He put down his tea and went inside to get his telescope. When he came back, the light was still there. June set up his telescope with quick, practiced movements. He pointed it at the strange light and looked through the eyepiece. What he saw made his heart beat faster. It wasn't a star or a plane. The object was round and smooth, with a soft blue glow. It hung in the air without moving. "Impossible," June said, but he knew what he was seeing. After studying the stars for decades, he knew this was not from Earth. Unknown to June, he was right. 2 miles away, hidden in the thick forest behind his home, a small ship had landed 3 days ago. The ship belonged to the Nuri, a race of beings from a planet many light years away. Inside the ship, Captain Ta looked at screens showing the area around them. He was tall for a Nuri, with 4 arms and a hard outer shell that shimmered with blue and green colors. His large eyes could see in the dark, which helped on this strange planet. "Report," Captain Ta said to his team. Scout Bin stepped forward. "The air is good for us. The gravity is a little strong but manageable. There are many life forms, but the main ones are called humans. They build structures and have machines." Captain Ta nodded. "Any threats?" "None so far," said Bin. "They seem soft and slow. No natural weapons like us. No hard shell, weak muscles. But they have made weapons. We must be careful." "And they have not seen us?" asked Captain Ta. Scout Han looked nervous. "One may have. An older male lives alone in a structure near the forest. I saw him looking at the sky tonight. He might have spotted our ship." Captain Ta didn't like this news. "We must be more careful. Our mission is to study this planet and prepare for the colony ships. If the humans know we are here too soon, it could cause problems." The Nuri had traveled far to find new planets to live on. Their homeworld was getting crowded, and they needed more space. Earth looked perfect. Good air, water, and land. The humans would be a problem, but the Nuri leaders thought they could handle them. "I want to know more about these humans," Captain Ta said. "Scout Han, you will watch the human who may have seen us. Learn his habits, his strengths, his weaknesses. Stay hidden." Han nodded, his antennas twitching with worry. "Yes, Captain." Back at his house, June finally gave up and went inside. The strange light had disappeared, and his old bones were getting cold. He made a note in his journal about what he had seen, drawing a picture of the object. As he got ready for bed, he didn't notice the small spider in the corner of his bedroom. It was building a web between the wall and the ceiling, a perfect spot to catch flies. The spider was ordinary, just a common house spider doing what spiders do. Neither June nor the spider knew they would soon be part of something extraordinary. And the Nuri had no idea that the smallest creature in that house would be their undoing. In the forest, Scout Han prepared for his mission. Tomorrow he would start watching the human. It seemed like a simple task. He was wrong. The next evening, Scout Han moved through the forest with careful steps. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and red. Han's body changed color to match the shadows around him. This was a useful trick all Nuri could do. Han reached the edge of the trees near June's house. He watched as lights came on inside. Through a window, he could see the human moving around, making food in what Han guessed was a kitchen. Such strange creatures, Han whispered to himself. Humans only had 2 arms, not 4 like the Nuri. Their skin was soft, with no protective shell. They looked so weak, yet somehow they had built cities and machines. Han touched the small device on his chest. Scout hand reporting. The human is alone. He appears to be following a normal routine. Captain Tay's voice came from the device. Good. We need to learn more about their living spaces. When the human sleeps, enter the dwelling and scan everything. Do not touch anything. Do not wake the human. Understood, Han said. He settled down to wait. Inside the house, Jun had no idea he was being watched. He ate his dinner, washed the dishes, and sat down to read a book about stars. As the night grew darker, his eyes became heavy. Time for bed, he said to himself. He put his book down and walked to his bedroom. In the corner of the bedroom ceiling, the small spider had finished her web. She was a common house spider, nothing special. Jun never noticed her. The spider waited patiently for insects to fly into her web. A slight breeze came through a small crack in the window. The spider felt it and moved along a strand of her web. Another, stronger breeze came in. This time, it lifted the small spider off her web. She quickly made a silk line and hung from it as the air carried her across the room. Outside, Han watched as the lights in the house went out. He waited 1 more hour, making sure the human was asleep. Then he moved silently toward the house. Han's device scanned for the best entry point. It showed a small window that was slightly open in the bedroom. Perfect. Han climbed up the side of the house using his sticky hands. He reached the window and carefully pushed it open a bit more. Han slipped inside the dark room. His large eyes adjusted quickly, letting him see clearly. The human lay in a bed, breathing slowly. Han moved away from the window, careful not to make any noise. Just then, a small air current from the window carried something through the air. The spider, still hanging by her silk line, floated directly onto Han's face covering. Han felt something touch him. Something with many legs moved on his face. He froze in fear. What was this creature? It seemed to be attaching itself to him. Han wanted to scream but couldn't make a sound. He couldn't risk waking the human. In a panic, he backed toward the window. The spider, feeling the sudden movement, clung tighter to Han's face covering. She quickly began making more silk lines to secure herself. Han climbed out the window and dropped to the ground. He ran through the forest, too scared to think clearly. All he knew was that something was on his face, something with many legs and strange sticky threads. He reached the ship and rushed inside. Help! He finally yelled once the door closed behind him. Something attacked me. 2 other Nuri rushed to him. What happened? One asked. A creature. It jumped on my face. Han said, breathing hard. It's still on me. But when they looked at Han's face covering, nothing was there. The spider had crawled away during his panic. Unknown to any of them, she had dropped off somewhere inside their ship. Captain Tai appeared, looking angry. What is this noise? Han. Report. Han tried to calm down. Captain, I was attacked by a small creature in the human's dwelling. It had many legs and made strange threads. Did the human see you? Captain Ta demanded. No, Captain. The human was asleep. Good. Captain Ta looked at Han with doubt. Perhaps you imagined this creature. Get some rest. Tomorrow we will send someone else to complete your mission. As the Nuri went back to their duties, none of them noticed the small spider finding a dark corner in their ship. She began to build a new web. The next morning, Scout Han still felt shaken. No one believed his story about the strange creature that had jumped on his face. Some of the other Nuri even laughed at him during breakfast. Maybe it was just a leaf, said Scout Bin with a smirk. It was not a leaf, Han said firmly. It had many legs. At least 6, maybe 8. 8 legs. Dr. Yun, the colony scientist, looked up with interest. No creature has 8 legs. That's not possible. Captain Tai entered the room. Enough talk about imaginary creatures. We have work to do. Our main colony ship will arrive in 30 days. We need to prepare. Everyone went to their duties. The ship was not very big, but it had several rooms. A control room, sleeping quarters, a lab, and a storage area. 20 Nuri lived in the ship, all preparing for the thousands more who would come later. In a dark corner of the storage room, the spider had been busy. She had built a new web between two tall boxes. It was a good spot to catch any flying insects that might be in the ship. But there were no insects here. The spider was getting hungry. Later that day, Scout Ben went to the storage room to get some equipment. He reached between two boxes and felt something strange on his hand. "What is this?" he said, pulling his hand back. Sticky threads were attached to his fingers. He had never seen anything like it before. Ben looked closer and saw a web of thin, sticky threads between the boxes. As he stared at it, he saw something move in the corner. The spider, sensing movement near her web, began to crawl along one of the threads. Ben's eyes went wide with shock. 8 legs. He gasped. Han was right. He backed away quickly, then turned and ran from the storage room. He ran straight to the control room where Captain Tai was working. "Captain," Ben shouted, "there's a creature in the storage room, just like Han described. 8 legs, and it makes sticky threads." Captain Ta looked up with an annoyed expression. "Not you two. I don't have time for." "I'm serious," Ben interrupted. "Come see for yourself." Captain Ta sighed but followed Ben to the storage room. Several other Nuri heard the commotion and came along too. In the storage room, Ben pointed to the corner between the boxes. "There, look at those threads." Captain Tai leaned in to look. He could see the web clearly now. "What made this?" he asked, his voice now serious. Just then, the spider moved along her web, perhaps hoping one of these large creatures might be food. "There it is," someone shouted. Everyone jumped back. Captain Ta couldn't believe his eyes. The creature was tiny compared to them, but it had 8 legs, just as Han had said, and it seemed to produce the sticky threads from its body. "How is that possible?" Captain Ta whispered. Dr. Yun pushed forward to see. "Fascinating," she said. "It appears to create these threads as a trap, and look how it moves on them without getting stuck." Suddenly, the spider dropped down on a new thread, descending quickly toward the floor. "It's attacking," a young Nuri screamed. Panic broke out. Several Nuri ran from the room, pushing each other in their hurry to escape. Others jumped on top of boxes to get away from the floor. Everyone calmed down. Captain Ta shouted, "It's tiny. It can't hurt us." But his words had little effect. The Nuri had never seen anything like the spider before. On their homeworld, no creatures had 8 legs, and none could produce threads from their bodies. Captain Ta turned to Dr. Yun. "Capture that thing. I want to know what it is, and if there are more." Dr. Yun nodded, though she looked nervous. Word spread quickly through the ship. The creature Han had described was real, and no one knew what else might be lurking on this strange planet. Dr. Yun worked carefully in her lab. The spider was now trapped under a clear dome. A special field kept the creature from escaping, but allowed Dr. Yun to study it closely. "Amazing," she said as she watched the spider move around. "Its legs bend in so many places." Captain Ta stood nearby, watching with a mix of curiosity and concern. "Is it dangerous?" he asked. Dr. Yun looked at her scanning device. "It has poison glands," she reported, "but the amount is very small. It could not hurt a Nuri with it." "Then why does it have poison?" Captain Tai asked. "I think it uses the poison to kill small creatures for food. Look at this." Dr. Yun showed Captain Tai an image on her screen. It has tiny fangs that can inject the poison. Captain Ta moved closer to the dome. The spider was sitting still now, perhaps waiting for food. "What about those threads?" he asked. "Even more interesting," Dr. Yun said with excitement in her voice. "It makes different kinds of threads for different uses. Some are sticky to catch food. Others are not sticky, which lets the creature walk on its web without getting stuck. And it can make a thread to hang from, or to drop quickly to escape danger." Captain Tai shook his head in wonder. I've never seen anything like it. There's more, Dr. Yun said. She touched her screen and showed Captain Tai a new image. It has multiple eyes. 8 eyes, arranged like this. The screen showed a close-up of the spider's head with its eyes glowing in the scan. 8 legs, 8 eyes, Captain Ta said. Is this a common creature on Earth? Dr. Yun touched her screen again. According to the data we've collected from human information sources, yes, very common. They are called spiders. There are thousands of different types, some much larger than this one. Thousands. Captain Ta could hardly believe it. How many of these creatures are on this planet? Dr. Yun looked at her calculations. Billions, perhaps trillions. They live everywhere on Earth except in the water and the coldest places. Humans encounter them daily. Captain Ta stepped back from the dome. And humans live with these creatures. They're not afraid of them. Some humans fear them, Dr. Yun explained, but most just ignore them. They are so common that humans barely notice them. Captain Ta thought about this. How could humans live with such strange creatures all around them? The idea of billions of 8-legged, 8-eyed, poison-carrying, threat-making creatures covering the planet was deeply unsettling. Could these spiders be a problem for our colony? He asked. Dr. Yun looked thoughtful. We should be careful. Some Nuri are clearly afraid of them. And while this one is too small to hurt us, there may be larger ones that could. I would recommend further study before the main colony arrives. Just then, the spider moved suddenly, running to the edge of the dome. Both Nuri jumped back in surprise. See, Dr. Yun said. Even we react with fear, and we know it can't hurt us. Captain Ta nodded. Keep studying it. Find out everything you can. I want daily reports. As Captain Ta left the lab, he had a new worry. If Earth had creatures like this spider, what else might be living on this planet that could threaten his people? In the hallway, he could hear Nuri talking about the spider. Some were asking if there were more on the ship. Others wondered what other strange creatures Earth might have. Fear was spreading among his crew. Captain Tai needed to keep control of the situation. He called everyone together for a meeting. We have captured the 8-legged creature, he announced. Dr. Yun is studying it. It is not dangerous to us. We must stay focused on our mission. The main colony will arrive soon, and we must be ready. But as he looked at the faces of his crew, Captain Ta could see that they were still worried. The discovery of the spider had changed something. Earth no longer seemed like an easy planet to colonize. Late that night, while most of the Nuri slept, Dr. Yun was still in her lab. She couldn't stop studying the spider. It was just so different from any creature on the Nuri homeworld. How do you make those threads? She whispered, watching the spider move inside its dome. Dr. Yun checked the power level on the containment field. It was running low. She reached for the power cable to plug it in. Just as she connected the cable, there was a small spark. The lights in the lab flickered. For just 3 seconds, the containment field turned off. 3 seconds was all the spider needed. When the lights came back on, Dr. Yun looked at the dome. Empty. The spider was gone. No, she gasped. She looked around the lab frantically. Where are you? She searched everywhere, under tables, behind equipment, in every corner, but the spider was nowhere to be found. Then she saw it, a small vent in the wall near the floor. The cover was slightly open, just enough space for a small spider to squeeze through. Dr. Yun's heart beat faster. She had to tell Captain Ta, but what would he say? He had trusted her to keep the spider contained. With shaking hands, she pressed the communication button on the wall. Captain Ta, I need to speak with you. It's urgent. 5 minutes later, Captain Ta stood in the lab, his face showing no emotion as Dr. Yun explained what had happened. So the creature is loose in our ship, he said when she finished. Yes, Captain, I'm very sorry. There was a power fluctuation and... Captain Tai held up one of his 4 hands to stop her. What you're telling me is that an alien life form with poison glands and unknown capabilities is now free to move anywhere in our ship. The poison isn't strong enough to hurt us, Dr. Ian reminded him. That's not the point, Captain Ta said. The crew is already nervous. If they find out the spider is loose. As if on cue, a scream echoed from somewhere in the ship. Captain Tai and Dr. Yun ran toward the sound. They found Scout Bin in the hallway outside the sleeping quarters, pointing at the ceiling. There. I saw it, Bin shouted. Other Nuri came out of their rooms, looking up where Bin was pointing. But there was nothing there. It was the 8-legged creature, Bin insisted. It was on the ceiling. Then it disappeared into that crack. Captain Ta looked at Dr. Yun. She nodded slightly, confirming what they both knew. The spider was indeed loose. Everyone, remain calm, Captain Ta said loudly. Yes, the creature has escaped from the lab. But Dr. Yun has confirmed it is harmless to us. Harmless, Han said, stepping forward. It attacked my face. It did not attack you. Dr. Yun corrected. It landed on you by accident, but the damage was done. The Nuri began talking all at once, their voices getting louder with fear. What if there are more? What if it lays eggs? What if it crawls on us while we sleep? Captain Tai raised all 4 of his arms. Enough. We are scientists and explorers. We do not fear a tiny creature. But his words didn't help much. That night, many Nuri couldn't sleep. They kept imagining the spider dropping down on them from the ceiling. Some put boxes around their sleeping mats, hoping to keep the spider out. In the control room, Captain Ta sat alone, thinking. How had things gone so wrong? It was just one small creature, but it had caused so much fear. Little did he know, things were about to get much worse. Far from the spider, in the ventilation system above the sleeping quarters, a single egg sac hung from a thread. Inside were hundreds of tiny spider eggs, almost ready to hatch. 3 days passed. The Nuri tried to continue their work, but everyone was on edge. Some claimed to see the spider in different parts of the ship. Others said it was just their imagination. No one could prove anything. Meanwhile, Jun had been watching the forest behind his house. He had seen strange lights at night. Sometimes he heard odd sounds. He began to take notes in a small book. One morning, Jun decided to look closer. He packed a small bag with water, food, his phone, and a camera. Then he walked into the forest. There must be something out here, he said to himself as he followed a small path. Back at the alien ship, Captain Todd called a meeting in the main room. All 20 Nuri gathered around a large table. We need to focus, Captain Ta said firmly. The main colony ship will arrive in 25 days. We must complete our surveys of the area. Dr. Yun stood up to speak. I have analyzed more data about the spiders of Earth. Most are harmless to humans. They actually help humans by eating insects that spread disease. So humans keep these creatures as helpers? Asked Scout Bin. Not exactly, Dr. Yun explained. Humans mostly ignore them, but they recognize their value in the ecosystem. The Nuri looked confused. The idea of living alongside such strange creatures was hard for them to understand. I need 3 scouts to check the area to the west today, Captain Ta said, changing the subject. Han, Bin, and Doc, you will go. The 3 scouts nodded, but they didn't look happy about leaving the ship. Just then, something small dropped from the ceiling onto the middle of the table. Then another, and another. Everyone froze. The 3 small things were moving. They had 8 tiny legs each. Baby spiders. Dr. Yun gasped. Panic broke out instantly. Nuri jumped up from their seats, knocking over chairs. Some ran for the doors. Others climbed on top of furniture. It had babies. Someone screamed. More tiny spiders began to drop from different spots on the ceiling. Dozens of them, all descending on thin silk threads. Captain Tai tried to keep order. Everyone stay calm. They're too small to hurt us. But no one listened. The fear was too strong. Han, Bin, and Doc ran out of the ship without waiting for orders. Captain Ta couldn't stop them. He watched helplessly as they disappeared into the forest. In the forest, Jun had walked about a mile when he heard strange sounds ahead. He moved carefully, staying behind trees. Then he saw something that made his heart race. 3 creatures were running through the forest. They weren't human. They had 4 arms, each in bodies that shimmered with color. Jun quickly took out his camera and started taking pictures. Aliens, he whispered in amazement. Real aliens. The 3 Nuri scouts didn't see Jun. They were too scared, running blindly away from the ship and its infestation of baby spiders. Back at the ship, Dr. Yun had managed to catch one of the baby spiders in a small container. She studied it while other Nuri tried to kill the rest with whatever they could find. Captain, Dr. Yun said, the spider we found must have been carrying eggs. These are its offspring. Captain Ta looked grim. How many? Spiders can lay hundreds of eggs at once, Dr. Yun said. And based on where they're coming from, I think they're in our ventilation system. Captain Ta felt a chill run through his body. Hundreds of spiders in their ventilation system, spreading through the entire ship, dropping down on them at any moment. And now 3 of his scouts had run off into the forest where they might be seen by humans. Everything was falling apart, all because of one small earth creature that had snuck aboard their ship. Captain Tai sat in his private room, his head in his hands. The situation was getting worse every hour. The 3 scouts who had run away came back after dark, looking ashamed but still frightened. We're sorry, Captain, Han had said. We couldn't stay in there with those creatures dropping on us. Now, Captain Ta faced a bigger problem. 10 of his crew were outside his door, waiting to speak with him. He knew what they wanted even before he let them in. Captain, said Min, the oldest Nuri on the mission, we need to talk about the spider problem. Captain Ta nodded. Go ahead. Half the crew is sick with worry. Min explained. No one can sleep. Everyone jumps at the smallest movement. We keep finding webs in corners. The tiny spiders are everywhere. Dr. Yun says they can't hurt us, Captain Ta reminded him. That doesn't matter, Min said firmly. The fear is real, even if the danger is not. People are breaking down. Some want to leave. Now, Captain Ta stood up straight. Leave? We can't leave. The main colony ship is coming in 24 days. We have work to finish. Another crew member stepped forward. Then give us a choice, Captain. Either we leave Earth, or we will refuse to work. We cannot live in a ship filled with these creatures. That's mutiny, Captain Ta said in a low voice. It's survival, Min replied. This planet is not what we thought. If even the tiniest creatures here cause us such fear, how can we live here? What else might be waiting for us that's even worse? Captain Ta looked at the faces of his crew. He saw real fear. Some were even shaking slightly. This wasn't just a small problem anymore. It was affecting everyone deeply. I will contact the home world, Captain Ta finally said. I will explain the situation. The group looked relieved. They left Captain Ta's room, and he went to the communication center. He sent a message back to the Nuri homeworld, explaining about the spiders and the crew's fear. The reply came faster than he expected. It appeared on his screen. Captain Ta, your report about 8-legged creatures causing fear seems exaggerated. Our data shows that Earth has many forms of life, but none that should prevent colonization. Complete your mission as planned. The main colony ship has already launched and will arrive in 24 days. Handle your crew's fears appropriately. Captain Tai read the message twice. The leaders didn't believe him. They thought he was exaggerating. How could he make them understand? Just then, a scream came from the medical room. Captain Tai ran there and found Dr. Yun standing on a chair, pointing at the floor. A bigger one, she shouted. Much bigger than the first. Captain Ta looked down. There on the floor was a spider about the size of his hand. It wasn't really big compared to a Nuri, but it was much larger than the house spider that had started all this trouble. Where did it come from? Captain Tai asked. Outside, I think, Dr. Yun said, still standing on the chair. Some crew members opened a side door to get fresh air. It must have come in then. Captain Ta looked at the spider. It wasn't moving much, just sitting there. But even he felt uncomfortable looking at it. Something about its 8 legs and many eyes was deeply unsettling to the Nuri mind. If this was how they reacted to spiders, how would they react to Earth's truly dangerous animals? Bears, wolves, snakes, sharks. Earth was full of creatures that could actually hurt them. For the first time, Captain Ta began to think that maybe his crew was right. Maybe Earth wasn't the right planet for them after all. But the colony ship was already on its way with thousands of Nuri, and the leaders wouldn't listen to his concerns. Captain Ta had to make a difficult decision, and he had to make it soon. June sat at his kitchen table, looking at the pictures he had taken in the forest. The images were clear. They showed 3 strange beings with 4 arms and shiny skin. There was no doubt about it. They were not human. Aliens, June whispered to himself. Real aliens on Earth. He picked up his phone and called his friend Sun. Sun worked at the Korean Space Agency and was the only person June trusted with something this important. Sun, I need to see you, June said when his friend answered. It's very important. What's wrong? Sun asked. I can't tell you on the phone, June replied. Can you come to my house tomorrow? Sun agreed, and June put down his phone. He looked at the pictures again. He needed to learn more about these aliens. Were they friendly? Dangerous? Why were they here? Jum decided to go back into the forest the next day. He wanted to find where these aliens were staying. At the alien ship, Captain Tai was watching Earth television signals. He was trying to learn more about humans and how they lived. He found a nature show about Earth's animals. The show was talking about spiders. Spiders are among Earth's most successful creatures, the human on the screen said. They'd been around for over 300 million years and have survived multiple mass extinctions. Captain Tai leaned forward with interest. Some people keep spiders as pets, the human continued, showing a picture of a large hairy spider in a glass box. Tarantulas are popular because of their impressive size and docile nature. Pets. Captain Ta couldn't believe it. Humans kept these creatures as pets. The show went on to explain how some spiders could kill humans with their venom, but such deaths were rare. Most spiders lived quietly alongside humans, helping to control insect populations. Captain Tai turned off the screen. He had seen enough. Something was becoming clear to him. Humans were far tougher than the Nuri had thought. Any species that could live comfortably with creatures like spiders, even keeping the larger ones as pets, must be incredibly brave or incredibly dangerous themselves. He called Dr. Yun to his room and shared what he had learned. Humans keep spiders as pets, he told her. They live alongside creatures that would cause mass panic among our people. Dr. Yun nodded slowly. I've been studying human biology more closely. They are physically weaker than us in many ways, but their tolerance for pain and danger is much higher. They live in environments with thousands of potentially harmful organisms, and they thrive. What does that tell you about humans as a species? Captain Tai asked. Dr. Yun thought for a moment. It suggests they are either incredibly adaptable, or they are predators themselves. Captain Ta looked out a small window at the Earth forest. I'm beginning to think this planet already has its dominant species, and it might not welcome competitors. Just then, Scout Han rushed into the room without knocking. Captain, we have a problem. The human from the house near the forest. He's in the woods again, and he's getting closer to our ship. Captain Tai stood up quickly. Has he seen us? Not yet, Han said. But he has a device. He keeps pointing at things. Some kind of scanner or camera. Captain Tai thought quickly. The human was investigating. Perhaps he had seen the scouts who ran away. We need to make a decision, Dr. Yun said quietly. If humans discover us before we're ready, we don't know how they'll react. Captain Ta nodded. He had been avoiding this moment, but now it was here. His crew was breaking down from fear of tiny spiders. The main colony was still coming. And now humans were getting too close. He had to decide, stay and face whatever came next, or leave this planet to its 8-legged creatures and the humans who somehow lived among them. As Captain Tai thought about what to do, Jun was getting closer to discovering the truth. And Sun was on his way to Jun's house, bringing equipment from the space agency that might help them learn more about the visitors from another world. Early the next morning, Sun arrived at Jun's house. He brought special equipment from the space agency, a heat detector, a radiation scanner, and a powerful camera with a long lens. I still don't understand why I needed to bring all this, Sun said as Jun made tea in the kitchen. Jun didn't answer. Instead, he opened his laptop and showed Sun the pictures he had taken. Sun's eyes went wide. What are those? Aliens, Jun said simply. I saw them in the forest behind my house. Sun looked at the pictures again, his hands shaking slightly. This changes everything. We need to tell someone. The government. First, we need more evidence, Jun said. That's why I asked you to bring this equipment. We're going into the forest today. Meanwhile, at the alien ship, Captain Ta had made his decision. He called all the Nuri together for an important announcement. After careful consideration, he began, I have decided that Earth is not suitable for our colony. A mix of relief and surprise showed on the faces around him. The creatures here, even the small ones, are causing us too much stress. Captain Ta continued. And the humans, they are more dangerous than we thought. Any species that can live comfortably among creatures we find terrifying must be formidable indeed. What about the main colony ship? Asked Dr. Yun. It's already on its way. I sent an emergency message recommending they change course to the backup planet. Captain Todd explained. We will leave today and join them there. The crew began to prepare for departure immediately. They were eager to leave this world of spiders behind. As they worked, Captain Tai wrote his final report. Earth appears suitable for colonization at first glance. Air, water, and resources are abundant. But the life forms here have evolved in ways that make them deeply unsettling to Nuri psychology. Even small creatures like spiders cause extreme fear among our people. Humans live alongside these creatures without concern, suggesting they are either incredibly brave or incredibly dangerous themselves. I recommend avoiding Earth entirely. Any species that thrives in such an environment is not one we should challenge. Just as the Nuri finished their preparations, Jun and Sun reached the edge of the forest near the alien ship. I saw them around here, Jun whispered, pointing forward. Sun checked the heat detector. There's something big ahead, something hot. They moved carefully through the trees, getting closer to the source of heat. Suddenly, the forest opened up into a small clearing. Look, Sun gasped. There in the clearing was a large silver ship. Around it, strange beings with 4 arms moved quickly, carrying equipment inside. They're leaving, Jun realized. He lifted his camera and took pictures. The aliens were in such a hurry that they didn't notice the 2 humans watching from the trees. Some equipment was left behind as they rushed to board their ship. Within minutes, all the aliens were inside. The ship hummed loudly, then lifted off the ground. It rose slowly at first, then shot up into the sky and disappeared. Jun and Sun stood in amazement, watching until the ship was completely gone. They just left, Sun said. I wonder why they were in such a hurry, Jun replied. They walked into the clearing to look at the equipment the aliens had left behind. There were strange devices and containers. It would take scientists years to understand the alien technology. As they walked back to Jun's house, they talked about what they had seen and what they would tell others. In Jun's garden, something small moved in the morning sunlight. The house spider had somehow found her way back home. She crawled onto a plant and began to spin a new web, unaware that she had just saved Earth from alien colonization. Somewhere in space, the Nuri colony ship changed course. Earth was added to their list of dangerous planets to avoid. In their records, they noted, inhabited by humans, a species so fearsome they live comfortably among eight-legged predators. Approach with extreme caution. And so, Earth remained safe, all because of one ordinary house spider.